everything up. I think everything's a mess. I need to clean it all up. Big mess I'm dealing with. Let's get this over here. Very interesting it is, I will say. All right, I got a mess going on. I made a mess in my patio. And it needs to be cleaned up anyway, so I guess it's all right. I'll wash the area down later today. But definitely made a mess. Or and I know most of you people all know that I hate messes. Not that I'm a neat freak or anything, but I hate messes. You know, some people dream of winning the lottery so that they can have cars and boats and houses all over the world. I dream of winning the lottery so I can have people follow me and just clean up after me, so that I can just have people keep everything neat and clean. Not that I'm a neat freak, because I'm probably the worst in the world, but my dream would be to win the lottery. Well, of course, buy my wife a house. But most importantly, hire a team of people, and you could be one of them, who would just literally make everything perfect around me. I'm one of those weirdo peoples. Thank you all for the thumbs up and chiming in. Don't be shy. You have made it to the adventures of PAC, which stands for Philippine American Couple. That's my wife and I. Hope you guys are doing great. Me and my dog is sitting outside. Good morning. N9I, good to see you. Hello. I got to get the water hose out later if it doesn't rain and wash down my patio. So good day to everybody. Hope you guys are doing great in your part of the world. It's a little humid, hot, and looks like it may rain, but I don't think it's going to here in my part of the world. Ah, the Schultz family. Good to see you. How are you? How are you guys been? I haven't seen your channel in quite a while. I used to know a guy named David Schultz. Him and I were friends when we were younger. And then we have a park that's nearby called the Schultz Family Park, believe it or not. It's a nice park. Ooh. Well, thank you for being here. Man, it's a great day in the neighborhood. Oh, man, I am tired, I will say that. Today is, I don't know, being old and retired and non-structured anymore, a lot of times I forget what day of the week it is. I'm thinking, I could check, obviously, it's not that hard. But I got a feeling it's Thursday. I do need to run by the post office today, drop something off for somebody. We got to go to Walmart and return a core charge for a battery for my wife's car that I bought a couple weeks ago that I keep forgetting to do. But I got a feeling it's Thursday today. I just do. But it feels like Wednesday. So I don't know. I don't know about you guys. Do you guys ever lose track of time? Yeah, I do. I know that. I mean, how half the time I don't know what time it is or where we are at. So me and my dog Lily, we'll be hanging out today for a little while. Oh, I forgot. I gotta see. I made a mess out here. I spilt things, and I mean, I literally just made a mess. As I came out, I tripped and stumbled and made a big mess. There we go. We're trying to grow. We're trying to do the best we can in life. Let me see here. There we go. Gonna be working on a book, I think. Oh, thinking of that. I got a book I'm working on today for educational purposes. My hummingbird, also my hummingbird feeder. I have a camera, a top secret spy camera, focused on my hummingbird feeders. Right? And we haven't had any hummingbirds yet this season. But I've come out here this morning and there's all kinds of nectar below my hummingbird feeder, and I don't know why. So I'm going to go back to my camera footage in a little bit and see if I can figure out why the nectar is coming out of my hummingbird feeder. I don't see it dripping. I don't know if something was up in there making a big mess, you know? I don't know how that works, to be honest. What happened there? But I got a camera. I got a spy camera. So I will figure it out. But with that said, I made a mess. I got soda pop on the ground, nectar over there, dirt. It's a mess out here. So that's what I mean. Winning the lottery, I only need one yacht, but I probably need a team of people just to clean up after me. That would be my big goal, my big hope. All right, while we're sitting here waiting on everybody, let me do some email checking. I'm an important person. I get a lot of emails. Now, disregard the fact that 90% of them are junk email, but still. Doesn't it make you feel important when you get an email? I love all the emails you get that says, warning, warning, your account has been hacked. Well, I don't have an account there, but thank you for letting me know. Oh, yeah. Oh, I need to do that. Let me save this email. I do need to do that. Love this. Last reminder. Last reminder. Well, you know, there is no last reminder because I never bought your service. Aussie chick, good to see you. How are you? How are you doing this bright morning in the great country of America? It's America for us, I mean. How are you? What's going on in your part of the world? Thank you for the thumbs up and coming in. Entertaining some of my ramblings this morning. Great to see it. I know you have a great channel that you're working on. How's your channel going? What kind of content do you like to do? Stuff like that. I'm always curious about what people are doing on their channels, you know? Weird. All right. I don't know if I like that. But anyway. Oh. I made a big mess. And so my iPad is dirty and greasy or smeared. I got a lot of cleaning I got to do. I need to get, I got a mess I need to clean up. But I'll get it done. I'll get it cleaned up. There you go. So Aussie Chick 88. Sounds like a name for a great channel. Cruising with PAC is in the house. Outstanding. All right, so I usually come out in the mornings, do some light reading, do a little chit-chatting. So one of the things I've started to work on is as somebody who wants to grow their brand, their channel, and somebody who was successful in life, like back in the 90s when I was a younger man, back in my 30s or 80s, whatever it was, I don't remember. Fairly successful in my career, right? But, the social media stuff, I will admit, I am probably years behind on. We do have TikTok and Instagram, but I don't use them like I do YouTube. And we do have Facebook. And my wife runs the Facebook stuff. We do have a Philippine American couple Facebook group that we'd love for you guys to change. And we have a relationship page between the United States and the Philippine government page also. Rick is in the house. Good morning to you, Rick. Good to see you. How are you today? What's going on in your part of the world today? So big cardinal. That cardinal almost came and got me. Almost poked my eyeballs out. So as somebody who's kind of way behind on technology and to be honest isn't excited, about technology, I'm not one of these people that just go, oh my God, the new iPhone 2900 is coming out. Whatever. Or the new, what do you call that? Android dog collars. I don't really care. I do need a better computer. I have a really nice computer, but it is 10 or 12 years old and it's causing me some problems. And it needs to be upgraded, but I hate to spend money because I'm poor. Tammy Henson in the house. Hi, I was wondering if I could come over to your house and watch. Absolutely. What would you like to watch? Absolutely. Thank you for being here. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. So, yes, absolutely, you can come over to the house and watch. Might even make you some food. You never know. I'm good. You're hanging out at work? Man, I don't know what work is anymore. I miss working. I really do. I miss the career I had. I don't miss working. It's like if you made me go work at Walmart, I wouldn't like that. One, I couldn't do it physically because of my heart condition. Or if you made me go lay bricks or paint houses or put widgets together, I wouldn't like any of that. But I really miss the collaborations I had with the government and state agencies and companies, going to meetings and coming up with concepts and seeing them from start to finish. Doing, what we didn't really know back then too much was kind of project management type stuff. But carrying through, being somewhat important in my own little micro world, I miss all of that. I really, really, really do. Maybe that's why I do YouTube. Because I'm the boss of my own little micro world. There you go. I get to collaborate, and I am collaborating with some other people. Which is exciting. We're having a collaboration in October. And there's other people like Pat and Rick. If you want to collaborate on something, man, we're all for it. On live streams or video together or competitions. Thinking of the man, the myth, the legend, Pat is in the house. Pat, thank you for joining me. We appreciate you. I'm trying out that sticker thing. Is there a sticker on your screen, Pat, that says first time here, say hi? I don't know how that works. I saw it came up and said, hey, you should do this. So I clicked it, and I don't really know what it means. But appreciate you, Pat. Okay, all right. If you hit it, will it go away? That's my question. Because I can't get mine to go away. I don't know how to make it get off of my screen that I'm looking at. Dennis is in the house. A good day, Pat and all. Thank you for being here, Dennis. How are you, young man? Good to have you in the house. So yes, we are always excited about collaborations and building our brand, sharing your brand, petting my dog's fat belly because it's fat and you watch it sag and wiggle. Oh! So Dennis, how are you, buddy? I hope things are well for you. I says, hello, Dennis, good to see you. It didn't go away, so maybe it just stays there. I don't know, Pat, but I don't know if I like it because it's just something kind of there, like right here. And I don't know if I can make it go away. So I don't know if I like it. Because I like to look behind. I'm trying to get rid of it. But I don't know how to get rid of it. Weird. I would think if I just clicked, here it is. I see. Okay, Pat. For everybody's reference, if you do one of those things and it pops up and you get tired of it, you just put your finger on it. It highlights and there's a little trash can that pops up and you just drag it and put it in the trash can. Yeah, I don't like it because it gets in my way. I like to, what if I'm sitting here, right? And an alien spaceship breaks through the atmosphere and it's coming down with guns blazing, right? Over my head and it's stuck. How am I going to see the alien spaceship behind me? I don't like it. Because I want to be able to see the aliens when they come through the atmosphere. Everybody's hello to Dennis. Dennis, how are things in your part of the world? I think of you often, Dennis. We have a lot of Filipino channels stopping in and visiting here lately, and I often think of you. So, because you're single and I'm not. So there you go, Dennis. Pat doesn't need me to think of him. Pat can find his own. So, but that's how we're doing it. Lorelai is still in bed. We do got to mail some paperwork off today for her sister's retirement from the school she was teaching at, the school district. So we do got to go out in public here in a little bit later, but for now we don't. So as much as I miss all of this stuff, I miss Dennis. I miss being important. When people like Dennis shows up and Patrick and Rick. Makes me feel important. Remember, keep your eyes up here, not down here. I'm up here, not here, So, but we're trying to figure out, without doing stupid shit, or stupider shit than we do, how to grow, how to learn, how to make money, how to do all of those things. Oh, I get it. So now, Patrick, I don't know, you haven't seen it, but on my screen facing me, it says add a Q&A sticker. Which do you prefer, cereal or bacon or something? I don't know where it went. So, but Patrick, what do you have to today? What's your big plan? Rick has said he's working. Dennis is dealing with his arm candy. All the other fine people in the background are just hanging out, looking at a handsome people. So As I continue to work through some of my books from the 90s and try to apply some of this psychology to the modern day internet world, which I don't know if you can or can't, or if it is applicable. I know I wish I had better technology skills. I really do. I wish I liked technology. I mean, I wish I was a computer nerd in a way. I wish I was somebody who could sit down and go, oh man, I need to do this and that on a computer, and I could make it run 20,000 times faster. But I don't. I mean, my wife is thinking about buying a new, why we're talking about that part, is Lorelai's going to start taking some classes online, and she's going to get a new laptop down the road here to help her with her classes online. And she messaged me last night. Said, "Oh, you need to help me pick out. We need, you need to help me pick out a laptop." And I laughed and I told her. She said, "Well," I laughed at her, and she asked me, "Well, why are you laughing?" And I said, "Well, because that's like somebody who doesn't have any interest in driving a car, and you go to them and say, what kind of car should I buy? I don't really have any interest in understanding because my brain hurts. So you want me to help you pick out a laptop? Not gonna work so well." All I know is you probably need Office. I grew up on Office. I think you need Office and the latest Windows version. Other than that, I don't know shit. My personal desktop needs way more power. It's old and it's gotten slow and clogged up. So, but other than that, I don't know anything. But for today, our big secret, ooh, I feel that breeze coming in. It feels so nice, Patrick. The big secret of dealing with people. That's what we're going to discuss today. Dealing with people. The big secret in dealing with people. Does anybody have any tips for me? How do you recommend dealing with people? Not difficult people, but just people in general. What is your favorite methodology in dealing with people? Does anybody have one? Let me turn that down a little bit so I can see a little better. It's a little bit of psychology about how to deal with people. And this could be like in a family situation or a workplace or the internet. And this is the thing that I'm trying really hard. I like this little statement. I haven't pre-read any of this since the 90s. So I'm rereading this and going through this as we discuss. But I do like the opening statement. It says, there is only one way under high heaven to get anybody to do anything. Did you ever stop to think of that? Yes, there truly is only one way. And that is by making other people want to do it. Isn't that what we do on social media? We are trying to get you guys to want to come and watch our videos. I'm trying to get you guys to want to participate. I want you guys to come and share what we do. Now, it's much harder, and I'm going to say this, it's much harder for me because, I have flat boobs versus big boobs and pretty eyes, right? So the want, what can I do to make you want to come to my channel? That should be my question, and that's going to be my new question. I don't know how to make up my own question on the screen pad. If I could, I would make one up and say, what would make you want to come to my channel, right? Because I have no titties to show you. But if you want to see mine, they cost money. You just got to ask. I'm cheap. I'm not a prude. I'll show you whatever you want to see for money. I don't have a higher morality. So I got to remember, if you want to buy a car or you want to sell a car, you got to make somebody want to buy that car, right? Same thing with housing. If you want lumpia, then I got to make my wife want to cook lumpia for me. Right? So that's what we got to do. We got to make people want to do the things that we want them to do. That's how we become successful in dealing with people. And it says, of course, yes, of course. You can make somebody give you their watch if you point a gun in their face and say, give me your watch. Well, yeah, they're going to want to give you their watch versus getting a bullet, right? But that's not good. That's short-term success. Sigmund Freud said that everything you and I do springs from two motives. You guys believe this? Oh, Jesus, exactly what I just said. God, I must be brilliant. Holy shit and butt farts. You know, we don't talk about this enough, but man, I must be brilliant. Sigmund Freud says that everything that you and I do springs from two motivations: the sex urge and the desire to be great. Man, I'm telling you. So people come to girls' channels because of the sex thing. And then I do YouTube, yeah, and partly to be great. I want to be great so I can make money, right? Because, you know, I'm very open and honest about all this. You guys, I'm not on here to bullshit you and tell you, oh, this is a noble calling and blah, blah, blah. Nah, I'm here for the money, for the entertainment, for the joy. I do the secondary contributions are fantastic to me. I feel like I'm teaching again. We build a great community. We continue to strengthen and grow our community. We foster that bird was going to kill me. We foster a community that's open dialogue and non-judgmental. So those are all secondary things. Now, would I still do them if there was there is no money involved. What am I saying? I would say, would I still do them if there's no money involved? Well, apparently there still is no money involved, so I guess I do it. I don't know, man. Thank you for saying hello. Aussie was in the house. She's got a good channel, too. John Dewar, one of the America's most profound philosophers. I need to read more about him because I don't know him very well. I've read a bunch of the philosophers over the years. I like the German philosopher Kant was one of my favorite. And I would really like to reread some philosophy. So maybe I'll need, I don't have get off of my thing. I had a fly sitting by my chair. I don't know him, but Dr. Drury said that the deepest urge in human nature is the desire to be important. Remember that the phrase, the desire to be important, I agree, is significant. You're going to hear a lot about that in this book. And I totally agree with him. And I know how to do this in a work environment. I know how to make my team feel important and how to take my role back. And we elevate the people around us. I'm going to give you a couple examples. If let's say you're a head chef. You know that you're the boss man, but what you should do, smart head boss, would tell everybody in the team, their sous chef, this person, how important they are. You elevate them up so that they do a better job for you, right? It's called pumping people up, you know, build them up so they will be successful and take pride in the work. The more pride somebody has when they're doing a task, the better they do the task. If you can, in the lowest levels, if you can get a janitorial staff to take great pride in what they do, then the facilities are going to be spotless and immaculate, right? But if you got people that really just don't give a shit, then your facility is going to look like shit, right? You know? So the big question for me, you, and everybody else who wants to grow your channel is, how do we take this and use it on the internet? And that's where I'm going with all of this. Everything I'm doing is trying to revamp this and figure out how to use it on the internet. Because I will say, I think I'm decent at using it when I was employed because I had a job. Our desire is to be important. Now, look, you may say, well, wait a minute ago, a second ago, you just said sex was a desire. Well, it is. But it kind of goes hand in hand. If you're important, right, you can still, your motivation can still be sex. Because you want that Filipina channel or that Thai girl or that Korean girl or the girl from Jamaica with the big boobs, you know, in order to get you to super chat her, to PayPal her, to buy her a new iPhone, to get her, on OnlyFans a Porsche, she's going to make you feel like you're the most important swinging thing there is, right? And women are really good at this. Women are way better at making us feel important than men are at all. I'm telling you. So women are really good naturally, and Filipinos are really good at this. That's why men love Filipino women. I'll just kind of deviate. We're often talking about the magic that Filipino women have on a men. Their smiles, their charm, their humility. Until you marry them, then their heads blow up. No, I'm just kidding. But a lot of it stems from that. They know how to make people feel important by taking a step back. We talk about this in relationships in America all the time because how American men no longer like American women. Because American women don't make men feel important, and they actually go the opposite and make them feel like garbage or used toys or servants. But how do we do this on the internet? I know how girls do it. Man, if I was a girl, I would do it. So how do I do it? That's the question. And I don't know how the answer. So I'm asking you guys. I feel a couple of drops of rain. Some of the really large, let's just say for an example, some of the really large Philippine American channels, couple channels or Philippine expat channels, well, the men channels, how they do it is by exploiting the women in the Philippines. Going out on Walking Street and interviewing girls and flashing them, like that old dog, new guy, Paul, that Paul guy does. He sells sex on his channel. That's how he does it. But if you don't want to do that, if you don't want to be that kind of content creator, how do we make people feel important? Bad thing, we're going to get some rain a little bit later. We're getting just a few drops now. I haven't looked at the weather, but a few drops just hit the barbecue grill, I could tell. Yeah, maybe 12. So how do we make people feel important? I try really hard on this channel to make all of you guys feel important because you're welcomed here. And sincerely, your opinions mean a lot to me. What you guys think and how you feel are very, very important to me. And that's the honest truth. It's not a boob flash. It's really how I feel. Love from India, good to see ya. Yes. How are you from India? What's going on in India today, my friend? Ply, what's going on? And I'm not for sure how to pronounce that. We'll just call you G9H. G9H, great to see you. Thank you for being here. What's important to you? How do you want to be perceived on the internet? That's what we have to do. How do we get people to go to your channel? How do we get people to go to Pat's channel and Rick's channel and everybody else's? What do we do to make ourselves important enough that people will come and feel like they want to come to our channels? Ooh, getting some wind now. Now look, if a tornado shows up, Pat, all you guys in the background, and you got a big ass tornado coming, somebody let me know, all right? Don't sit there and let me get eaten and killed by a tornado just for fun. Just saying. So let's see if there's common grounds. I need an ink pen. I need another highlight. I'm out of highlighters. I know, being somebody who went to college forever and taught college forever, I'm really used to having a lot of highlighters. And I don't know what happened to my highlighters because I like to highlight things in books. But I don't know where my damn highlighters are. And I guess I'm just too damn cheap to buy a highlighter at Walmart. But I don't know where my highlighters went. Pat says, awesome channel, Brother David. Thank you. Appreciate that. Better than others. Good advice. Thank you. Well, I try. You're talking about good advice about not getting killed by the tornado? So there are some things that naturally, things that we want that just naturally we want, right? It's just normal for us to want these things. We don't got to sit down and think about these type of things that I'm going to mention that we might want. Real simple. We want health, which sadly, and the preservation of life. Most of us, most people, don't want to die. They want to live. Food, because we all got to eat. Now, some of us are fat and we eat too much. We all want to go to sleep. We do. Man, I like to get to sleep more. I don't get much sleep anymore. Poor old Lily wakes me up at freaking 6:30 in the morning. Lorelai doesn't get home until midnight. Then I'm up until 2. I don't get much sleep anymore. I'm tired. Money and things money will buy. What's your number one financial want? I need to go. Oh, that chair. This chair has a bunch of hummingbird nectar on it. And I don't know why my hummingbird feeder is leaking. All right. So, what is the number one money thing you would like to buy? Is it a car? A new hat? I think this is something important that for any of us to get down the road in life, anywhere we go, we do have to understand the things that we want versus the things that we need. Now, and wanting things is not a bad thing in any way, shape, or form. It's actually very good to want things. I'm just telling you. Because if you have no desires, no wants, what are you working for? What are you living for? You just going to sit on the couch and eat cookies and watch Dr. Phil? You know? So we got to have wants. But I ask, what is the number one thing? Maybe we'll do a big live stream on that one. What is the number one thing that you want money for? I know what mine is. You guys have probably heard me talk about it for 500 years, but you know what my number one thing, why I want money? Most people want life in the hereafter, meaning a belief in a God or a heaven, depending on whether you're Buddhist or Baptist or Muslim, it doesn't matter. There's 90% of the population believe in something after we die, and they want that. They don't want to think that it just ends. Sexual gratification, right? And this is where some of the girl channels are really good at. You know, they are teasing enough to allow, I would say, creepy men. Sorry, all of you guys, that might be creepy. They're teasing them enough to get them to give themselves, the men can give themselves, I'm trying to be careful on my words, sexual satisfaction, right? And that's why the guys will super chat the girl, the low cut tops and how they sit with their legs, and you can pretend they don't have any shorts on, and dudes will be able to sexually gratify themselves. And that's how the girls are important. It makes the guy feel important, makes the girl feel important, because we all want to be important. They all want money. You know, the guy wants sexual satisfaction, the girl wants money. So it's a trade. And one of the most important things is, no matter what, and we talked about this, everybody wants to feel important. You know, I told somebody the other day, I was on Michael's channel. We were talking with his friend Mika and a few other people about you have to have an ego if you're going to be on social media. You got to have some type of ego. And Dennis is pointing. Oh, I don't think so. Not with all. How can you be one of them, the man without blood flow, with all the arm candy you have around you? If I had that much arm candy around me, I'd have a lot of problems, Dennis. Let me tell you, holy shit and butt farts. Well, one, I'd be divorced and my wife would kill me, but there you go, listen. Yeah. I can't even have any candy, arm candy or not. So, sprinkling a little bit, which is good, maybe to cool off a little. So all of this is pretty much gratification, all except one, but there is a longing almost as deep, almost as important or embedded in us, the desire for food and sleep that is seldom gratified. So there is one of these that we do not get to satisfy very often. And that's what Freud calls the desire to be great. It is what Drury calls the desire to be important. And we all do this. I'm sorry. And that's what I told MJ, because he was, I don't know, trying to say that he doesn't have an ego, or so, I know, but we've got all that worked out. But my point is, we're talking, and somebody was saying, yes, I have a YouTube channel, but I don't have an ego. And I'm like, well, bullshit. I got to call bullshit, because whoever has a YouTube channel has some ego. Otherwise, we wouldn't do it, because we want people to recognize us. Hello? If the girl, because look, for instance, and I'll give you examples. I know a lot of Filipino girls, very good looking, very nice bodies, very great smiles, pleasant people. They have no desire to be on YouTube or Instagram, period, whether they're shaking anything or not. So they could, but they choose not to. So if you are in social media, I told everybody the same thing about teaching. And when I was doing private consulting work and I was lecturing in front of, every speaking engagement that came up and somebody said, hey, would you, I'm like, hell yeah, I'll go. Shit, yeah. I got a freaking ego. Yes, I'll go speak in front of your 500 people. Whatever it is, we all have that. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing public social media like this. We wouldn't be doing it. We wouldn't be on TV on commercials or news ads. We wouldn't be putting out on Facebook where we go, what we do, what we eat. We wouldn't do it. We just wouldn't do it. So that's the most important thing, Freud says, is the greatness. We all have the desire to be great. But very, very few people ever achieve greatness. And I guess that eludes myself. I will say this. I think as we get older, what happens is our desire for greatness, let's use that term, maybe lessens, or we realize it's not as important as it used to be. Now, back in my 30s, yes, I definitely wanted to be seen as wise, great, educated, a subject matter expert, whatever the hell it was, all through 30s, 40s, so forth, so forth. When we're building our careers and we're working through life, that's how we do it, because in order to move up the food chain, we got to be a shining star. So we got to be great. But I do think there comes a point in time for a lot of us, not all of us, where we kind of go, being great's really not that important. If we can use our attempt to be great to achieve our other goals, like picking up arm candy around the world, or buying my wife a house, or traveling more, whatever your goal, getting more wiener dogs, whatever it is that you really find in your heart that you want, you can use your greatness or your attempt to achieve greatness to gain those goals. And let's say in the 30s and the 40s, it was all about just being great. It wasn't about what was going to result from being great. It was all about just being great. Now I'm all about what can I get out of greatness, which is my ego. How can I use my ego and my willingness to stick my big ass face out here, my willingness to be a public figure, and go, how can I manipulate that into what I want to achieve versus just building my own ego saying, look at me, I want to be great. You should all recognize I'm great. And this goes on to a deeper subject for a lot of folks. We all talked about this, that, it's like somebody, I talk about death a lot because I'm not afraid of death. So we talk about death a lot and what happens. It's like, oh, well, your family and your friends will miss you. Sure they will. They're going to miss you. They're going to think about you off and on, but you're not going to be missed that much. You're not that important. None of us are that important in the clog of the world. Now, we may be remembered for an activity we did, but the world's going to continue. The life's going to continue. If you take us out of it, the world doesn't cease to function. So we're not great. We're not important enough to disrupt the flow of the planet, the earth, society. We're not. Great leaders who are murdered, boom. You know, there they are. A few months later, everybody, oh yeah, it was sad that that happened. Nobody gives a shit. Shit just kept on. You know, a new politician steps up, a new leader steps up, a new business owner steps up. It just doesn't matter. We don't matter as much as we think we do. And that's what they're saying is a great difficulty in becoming great. You can't really ever achieve true greatness. I don't believe you can ever choose or receive true greatness. All right? That's my opinion. You can be great in your own mind. Trust me, every time I look in the mirror, I go, damn, woo. But, no. Lincoln once began a letter saying, everybody likes a compliment. Absolutely. William James said, the deepest principle in human nature is the craving to be appreciated. He didn't speak mind of you or the wish of the desire or the longing to be appreciated. He said it's the craving to be appreciated. Do you feel appreciated in your lives? That's what I'm asking you. Pat's saying, when you die, they miss us, but they will forget us when people will erase us. That's right. They will. Yeah, because, Pat, we can't sustain in history. 99.9% of us, we do not linger in history. The ones that usually linger in history are the bad ones. Hitler. Everybody remembers Hitler. People's going to remember Hitler for the next 1,000 years. Well, they start to forget Winston Churchill, you know, and we don't even know the emperor, you know, of China or Japan or the presidents, you know, there are certain names, but that person's not going to affect the world anymore. It's just not. You may say, well, somebody like Hitler who murdered so many people, all of that, the genocide that went along with it, since it was in a first world setting, we do have crazy people that believe Hitler is right. So there's a lingering effect of the Hitler effect. But it gets weaker and weaker and weaker every day that goes by. So even he and his philosophy is not going to maintain. It's not going to work. But we all want to feel important. So knowing that people want to feel important, that's what we have to do. I have to try to make you guys, the internet, and I don't know how to do this, is why I'm asking. How do we, on this channel, make you guys feel important enough, and on your channel, you doing the same thing, to get people to repeatedly watch your content, to help you grow and market your own brand. All I want is AC. Well, if you go to Europe, there is no AC apparently in Europe. Oh wait, you mean arm candy. I thought you meant air conditioning. Even though the Philippines has air conditioning, Europe doesn't. Kind of crazy, right, Dennis? So, what do I got to do to get you to want to be a part of my channel, my social media group? Well, I have to make you feel important. How do I make you feel important? I don't know. Those are the answers. 'Cause everybody's differently. And it's a different environment. If I'm at a job site or a company or I'm out on a shop floor, I don't know, wherever. If I'm at some place that makes tires, it doesn't matter. I can walk up to you individually, in person, put my hand on your shoulder and say, Pat, you're killing it, buddy. Man, I am grateful and appreciative that you are here on our team. That wins people over. Patting people on the back sincerely, knowing their names is how you do it. In public, you know, I do that at Walmart when I go to cashiers who look like they're miserable. I read their name tag and I say, well, I can't think of a girl's name right now. Hey, Julie. Well, hey, Julie, how are you today? I mean, you know, she's like, and I'm like, well, it looks like a busy day. I know you got a hard job being here, boy. But let me just tell you, I greatly appreciate you being here to help me. Boom, changes everything, right? Boom. And as a good boss, that's what you need to do. As a good husband, that's what you need to do. As a good father, that's what you need to do. But those are face-to-face that you can do. But how can we do that in a setting like this, an internet setting? How can we do that? It all has to be verbal cues. You know, there's a lot of psychology behind, like what I'm doing currently now. I come up closer to the camera and I try to talk to you face to face. I try to let you look at me in the eyes and see my sincerity. And then you kind of back off with body language and you smile and you try to make sure that you feel important, that I'm embracing you into my world. And that's what we all have to do in social media because we all want to be great. All right. Let me see. Oh, here's something. Let me see this. The desire to feel important is one of the most chief distinguishing differences between mankind and the animals. I like this. We're going to compare humans to animals, and I like this. There's something in here I want you to catch. To illustrate, when I was a farm boy out in Missouri, my father bred fine Durocky Jersey hogs. No clue. And pedigreed white face cattle. I know what a white face cattle is. I know because I've seen the white. I know those. Apparently, I don't know my pigs. We used to exhibit our hogs in white face cattle at the county fairs and livestock shows throughout the Midwest. Ooh. So not just in the Show Me State of Missouri. We won first prize by the score. My father pinned his blue ribbons on a sheet of white muslin. That's the fabric. It's fabric, not the religion. Muslin, not Muslim. It kind of goes underneath dresses and things. That's that real thin fabric. Muslin. And when my friends and visitors came to the house, he would get out the long sheet of fabric, and he would hold one end, and I would hold the other one, which exhibited all of our blue ribbons. I can picture that. Yeah. Don't we do that in our offices, Dennis? You know, all of our awards. I mean, Lorelai's made me put some of mine out in my office, but I got a gigantic stack of shit. They're in a box because David doesn't care anymore about stuff like that. My perspective on my greatness, or that no longer makes me great. Back in the day when I was teaching, having all of these fancy things and all of this bullshit from all over, yeah, now I don't care. But here's the key. The hogs didn't care about the ribbons that they had won, but the father did. These prizes gave him a feeling of importance and greatness, because he was important because he could breathe these, and he was great because he did. And he had the fabric full of blue ribbons to show it. I like this, yeah. It goes on to say, if our ancestors hadn't had the flaming urge, kind of weird word, urge for feeling of importance, civilization would have been impossible. Without it, we would still be like the animals. Meaning that if our forefathers didn't have the desire to be great and to be the leaders of the community and have people look at them, that the pharaohs didn't want to be great, there wouldn't be pyramids. The Greeks didn't want to be great. There wouldn't be, whatever the Greeks built. I can't remember anymore. Right? And civilization would not be there. Somebody had the desire to be a leader. And if you're a leader, truly what you are, most people who are leaders want to be great. Trust me on this one. There's a channel I'd like to share with you, Brother David, also Brother Dennis. I'm not for sure if she's Brazilian. Brazilian, Egyptian, Mexican, different nationalities. All right, share it. Do you have her link or anything? You can message me or drop it right here if you want in the chat. If you copy her link, go to her page, her YouTube channel, and just copy that bar and submit it, it will drop it to it. All right, and send it to me later then. Yep, absolutely. We're happy to have it. We've got some new Filipino channels, Pat, that you would like. They're really good people. Well, I think this is nice too. This is kind of about writers. It was the desire of feeling important or great that inspired Dickerson to write his immortal novels, right? If you don't want people to recognize you, why would you write a book? I want to do that with my Colma story, right? Desire makes you want to wear the latest styles and hats, tropical shirts, so that you stand out. When you stand out, you're more important than the people that don't, right? And the funny thing is, a couple weeks ago, and this does happen every once in a while. Now, granted, I've been around forever in this part of the region. Yes, a lot of people know us from social media, but a lot of people knew me from the college and my consulting business. And so there are times, I got a bug on my phone. There are times, all right, Patrick, that when I'm at Sam's Club or Walmart, people will walk up and say, "Hi, I know you." And they either call me PAC or Philippine American couple, or they call me Mr. Hartman because of the genre that they knew me in. But sometimes I think the wife gets a little jealous because that happens frequently. A couple of weeks ago, it happened to a whole bunch at Sam's Club for some reason. We were at Sam's and there were 7 or 8 people that just, "Hey, how are you, man? I saw this the other day on your channel, blah, 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 blah. Well, great to meet you. How are you?" Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. But I stick out because I wear tropical shirts. If I wanted to blend in when I go to Sam's Club, which I probably should do, I would just wear some boring ass t-shirt and shorts and not a hat because people recognize in the YouTube world and on the Instagram and TikTok world that I wear this, right? So we do it. Let's see here. Let me see if I can read something here. See, Pat's important. Pat had to go take a phone call. Man, it is humid out here with that rain falling. Holy shit and butt farts. Well, and I like this. You can feel important if you're a criminal. If you get away with her, I know a guy that I do, and this is a true story. I know a guy that I grew up with that he loves to feel important by humiliating people, bullying them, hustling them out of a dime. He will spend hours to get you to lose a dime. That's how he feels important, right? That's a negative way, but in his brain, he's important because he can make people squirm around him. That they will jump through hoops. And the sad thing, when somebody like that happens, the older he gets, nobody wants to be around him. Right? He has nothing to offer. He only takes. On the other hand, somebody who's a giver, who gives to be important, maybe they can get taken advantage of and used, but that's how they feel. Oh, I donate to charities. I go work in soup kitchens. I work with the homeless people. I work at the shelter. Whatever it may be. So the question is, how do you do you satisfy your need to feel important? So when I ask you guys this question, how do you feel? How do you do that? I'm asking myself, and I don't quite know the answer for myself, to be honest. History sparkles with amusing examples of famous people struggling for the feeling of importance. Even George Washington, which I'm going to go watch that movie. Maybe we'll go do that this weekend. The new George Washington movie is supposed to be outstanding. We just haven't seen it yet, but I really want to go see it. Even George Washington wanted to be caught his mightiness. What an ego. All I want to be is called Lord and Master of the Universe. Mightiness, that's funny. The President of the United States and Columbus pled for the title Admiral of the Oceans and Victoria of India. So there you go. Catherine the Great refused to open letters that were not addressed to her as her Imperial Majesty. And Mrs. Lincoln in the White House turned upon Mrs. Grant like a tigress and shouted, "How dare you be seated next to my presence until I invite you?" Now, sometimes I feel that way. I am one of those people that, since I don't like people too much in public, I don't like it when people sit next to me if I don't know you, unless I've invited you. So, I am one of those. I can kind of understand Mrs. Lincoln, but what they're saying is, she reminds me of Camilla Boyle, the king's hooker girlfriend, or prostitute, whatever that girl's name is, the ugly chick that hangs out with the king now. Because I've been watching a lot of stuff on her. She's the queen consort, something like that, who really isn't a queen, thank God, because she seems to be even worse than white trash. Apparently she seems to be corrupt and have laundered a lot of money to family members and all of this other stuff. So there's a lot of drama apparently with that chick. So there you go, self-importance. Lincoln's woman wanted to be important. Maybe let's look at Donald Trump and his wife. Shit, I forgot her name. Melania. Does Melania want to be important? Is she somebody that's driven by ego? Well, one, I think if you're a supermodel, you probably do have a little bit of ego going on. Now, versus somebody like Lincoln's wife, who was sitting there saying, "How dare you sit next to me without my permission?" I think she exerts, the Trump wife, the first lady, does it because how she does it is by styling and looking like a 10. She doesn't got to tell anybody she's important because she dresses like she's important. She carries herself in a manner. It's kind of like even in the royal family. If you know it, because I've been watching a lot of this lately for some reason. The chick that is the king's son, is her name William, right? Kate is her name? Catherine or Kate or somebody? The queen in waiting, the young lady. She doesn't say a lot apparently, but she carries herself very well, which shows her importance. On the other hand, Camilla, the hooker queen, the escort queen, not so much. I'm probably butchering all that to hell, but you get my point. Everybody wants to feel important. Everybody's going to feel important. I like this one. Our millionaires helped to finance Admiral Byrd's expedition to the Antarctic in 1928, which is a great expedition, by the way. And why did he want to do it? To go down in history. With the understanding, so he got the money to go on this, with the understanding from the millionaires understood that the range of mountains would be named after them. Victor Hugo aspired to have nothing less than a city of Paris renamed in his honor. All right, well, there you go. I don't know who the hell you are, but congratulations. Even William Shakespeare, the mightiest of might, tried to add his luster to his name by procuring a coat of arms for his family. So Shakespeare, said, look, I'm going to make myself important. I'm going to make my own coat of arms. I'm going to make it look like I descend from royalty. There you go. It's kind of what we talked about a little bit ago, is people sometimes become invalids, invalids in order to win sympathy or attention, to get a feeling of importance. This is one thing I find disgusting. I hate people that who want to do the woe is me, oh my God, I don't know how to drive. I can't get to the doctor. So that people will come and help them. They're begging for affection because it makes them feel important. Oh yeah, and I see this. I've seen it all my life. Oh yeah, they're talking on the phone and they're saying, well, Barbara, yes, Judy is coming to pick me up at 3 o'clock. Yes, she had to change her work schedule to come and pick me up so I can go to the doctor. Well, because, my legs are bad and, my toe turned purple and the doctor really wants to see me now and the banker lady said, all that bullshit. That's a way for them to feel important by dramatizing their bullshit, Being pathetic in their mind makes them feel important. I think that's one of the worst ways to live through life is to be pathetic, to act pathetic, and then what's even, you may be pathetic, everybody, right? We all may be pathetic, but to advertise the fact that I'm pathetic, I don't know if I could do that. I don't know if I could do that. If I could go around saying, oh, I don't know if I can do that. But that is one way they do it. There are people that believe that some people actually go insane in order to find the dreamland of insanity, the feeling of importance that has been denied to them in the harsh worlds of reality. So what they're saying is there are the people, and this is a mental health issue, I'm sure, that they don't feel like they're important in the real world, in reality, which they're probably not, because 99.9% of us are not important. So they go insane so they can live in an imaginary world, so to speak. Now, I think if you're choosing to live in an imaginary world, then you're really not insane. You just have mental health issues. But they do this so they can have the fantasy of being important in their own world, in their own minds. Self gratification in a way, I guess. Self-grandizing, I think is a word they use. What's the cause of insanity? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Why do people go insane? Nobody knows. Are there really insane people? Absolutely. Are there also people that with a lot of mental health issues who just like to live in the drama? Yes. Are there drama queens everywhere we go? Oh, absolutely. Do you want to be a drama queen? Would you, I don't understand why anybody, I don't know, negative attention is not a good thing. I know children do this. I've never had kids, so let me put that out there. And I think kids kind of smell funny, and then they want you to feed them, and then they want you to buy them toys and clothes and take them places. That's a lot of work. But I get it when kids do something that's negative to get a reaction. Years and years and years ago, 483,000 years ago to be exact, my grandparents had a big house and a big shop outside. And my little brother at the time, I don't know how he was, maybe 5, 6, 7, 8, I don't know. I guess he threw a rock through one of the windows. And my grandmother was dumb. Why would he do such of a bad thing? And I'm like, well, one, he's a kid. 2, he's just trying to get attention. He's lacking attention. as part of it. So now we're all talking about him. He has attention. And I said, and three, the most important thing in our environment, our micro world, was he did it to your window because he knows that you're not going to beat the living shit out of him, that you're still going to love and understand him. If he did it at my dad's house, my dad would have just beat the living dog shit out of him and stomped him in the ground for 4 or 5 days, you know. But he can do it to grandma's house, and grandma will say, oh no, that's bad. You know, we got to talk about this and work on it. And now we got to figure out a way that you can earn a little bit of money to pay back the window. So it stretches on and on and on, right? And he's not going to be physically hurt. Oh, let me see what else we got here. Let me get back here. I wish it was going to rain. It was going to rain. This book talks a lot about Charles Schwab, which I find interesting since I use his banking stuff. In my wide association in life, meeting with many, many great people in various parts of the world. Me too. You know, meeting with Pat and Dennis all over the world and Rick and everybody else. Charles Schwab declared, I have yet to find the person, however great, and in a higher station who did not do better work and put forth greater effort under the spirit of approval than he would ever do under the spirit of criticism. Meaning, greatness only comes from doing better. Hard work. You still got to do the hard work, right? However great and high in his station, who did not do better work when being praised versus being criticized. And we talked about this the other day in one of the other chapters. You're not going to get good work out of people if you don't praise them, if you don't build them up. You're not going to get it. Negative, you can criticize, but you got to criticize in the right way. Negative equals negative, period. You know, go out on the floor of your job and start criticizing somebody with a harsh negative term. Do you think it's going to sink in? No. But if you teach them how to wear a hard hat correctly or wear glasses correctly, safety glasses, or you teach them how to operate the machine so their fingers don't get cut off in a positive way, it's going to happen. Criticism doesn't work. Now, what's funny about that is on YouTube, those channels that are criticizing others, people seem to like to watch. Hate channels. So there are those channels, like Jack Doherty, I think is his name. He made his fame and fortune on pulling pranks and doing stupid shit at the cost of other people. Now, standby-ers, I guess, like that because it worked for many years. Now, I do believe at one point in time, since he got a little bit older, he started bringing in hot chicks into his videos, and that made him blow up. But in the beginning, he would do negative things, and people would watch him do negative, all hoping that he'd get arrested, and he apparently has. So, negative can pay off, but is it sustainable? Will you reach greatness under negativity? Maybe infamy, but you're also not going to be remembered as long. He's not going to be remembered in a few years. He's an adult man now. Nobody cares. Back when he was a cute kid, you know, doing stupid shit, it was funny. But a 30-year-old man doing stupid shit, well, that's just being an asshole. It's like the white kid, I can't remember his name, called himself Doug the Builder or Builder Bob or something like that. He'd go around and try to pick a fight with black people, call them names. But now he's sitting in jail, you know, and got shot because he picked the fight with the wrong guy, right? And it's all about his First Amendment right. He can do whatever he wants. Well, he never achieved greatness. I mean, got shot for it. One of the outstanding reasons for the great success of Andrew Carnegie, whose book we're reading Dale Carnegie books, Carnegie praised his associates publicly as well as privately. And I will say, now I read this 30,000 years ago, was one of the things I was really good at, or I tried really good to do. I tried when I did conferences and events and I had a team, I would publicly announce how great of a job they did. I learned that early on. You got to give them a shining star. You got to give them their want to help me. Partly was because at the end, they're going to be publicly praised as the leaders, as the workers. That's the way it's going to do it. That's how you do it. You privately do it individually or as a small group, works great. But I'm telling you, when you get a group of people to stand up in front of a crowd of 500 people and say, you got to thank Dennis and Pat and Rick and Dallas Page and all these freaking other people. This is your team that put this together for you. Right? Why do you think sports do the MVP? Right? If they really wanted just to talk about who is the greatest, why would they advertise it in front of everybody? Same thing. You got to have sincere appreciation, I agree, and humiliation. According to this silly story, which may not be true, the facts may not be true, but the moral of the story is true. A farm woman, at the end of a heavy day's work, sat before her menfolk in a heaping pile of hay. I can visualize that. And when they indignantly demanded whether she had gone crazy, she replied, "Why? How did I know you didn't notice? You didn't notice. I've been cooking for you men for the last 12 years, and all that time I ain't heard a word to let me know you wasn't just eating hay." I don't get that one. That one's kind of weird, but it was made up. So I don't listen to that. That's all kind of stupid. When a study was made a few years ago on runaway wives. Has anybody ever had a runaway wife? Now I know there's a lot of you guys out there that probably wish your wife would run away, but runaways, right? What do you think was discovered to be the main reason wives ran away? It was the lack of appreciation. And now that's the problem in American relationships, why men are abandoning American women. Lack of appreciation. So let me throw that out there. American men are sick of American women because of lack of appreciation. And I bet that a similar study made of runaway husbands would come out and be the same damn thing. Yeah. Why do employees quit the job? Lack of appreciation. A lot of employees will accept lesser pay if they know that they're truly appreciated and want it to be there. And not want it to be there just so the company can benefit off their sweat and labor, but they're truly appreciated. People will go bend over backwards if they know that you appreciate them. They will. Have I done anything to appreciate my wife lately, or am I in trouble? Let me think. I don't know. I'm gonna have to get back on you on that one. We often take our spouses so much for granted that we never let them know that we appreciate them. Okay, I would agree. I think most of us do that. So if we're not appreciating our spouse, are we appreciating our subscribers to the YouTube channel? So I'm working on, I can appreciate Laurel. I just give her like diamond rings and she'll be good. But how do I appreciate you guys on YouTube? A member of one of our classes told of a request made by his wife. She and a group of other women in her church were involved in a self-improvement program. Holy shit and butt parts. You got to watch out for those self-improvement programs. She asked her husband to help her by listing 6 things he believed she could do to help her become a better wife. Oh my God, this is a trap. If your wife or girlfriend ever says, honey, can you tell me how I can be a better wife or a better girlfriend? Oh my God, you better run for the hills. Do not answer that question because it's going to be wrong. I am telling you, do not answer that question. So he said, Well, why don't you let me think on that? And I'll give you an answer in the morning. The next morning, I got up. The husband got up very early and called the Floors and had them send 6 red roses to my wife with a note saying, I can't think of 6 things I would like to change about you. I love the way you, I love you the way that you are. Man, that guy was a brilliant, brilliant person. I'm just telling you, smartest thing to do is just spin that. When the woman says, does this pants make me look fat? You can't say, well, it's not the pants that make you look fat. You know, if she's asking, does this pair of pants make me look fat? She already thinks it makes her look fat. And so I try to say, well, you know, why do you think maybe it makes you look fat? So I don't have to answer the damn question. This guy was brilliant. Don't fall for that trap. And he didn't fall for that trap. When I arrived home that evening, who do you think greeted me at the door? That's right, my wife and her divorce attorney. No, I'm ad-libbing. She was almost in tears and he's saying, I was extremely glad I had not criticized her as she requested. And there's a big difference between, you know, a negative and a positive. Even with an employee, you know, well, what have I done wrong versus what can I do to be better, right? But don't fall in the trap when you're talking to your wife or girlfriend. Don't do it. So we got to make our followers, our employees, to feel appreciated, to feel desired. Women feel beautiful by the sheer power of his gallantry. And consideration is how we make women feel proud. And it's how we make you feel proud. You know, it's why I always tell you, and I mean this sincerely, if you need something from us, I will do my very best to help you with it. And I've done that. I've helped a lot of people off of YouTube solve their problems, immigration, visas, wife issues, girlfriend issues, K1 stuff. Done a lot of this stuff, financial stuff. Because we are sincere in what we do on this channel. That's one way I can show you that I do appreciate you and that you have great importance to my YouTube channel. You know, now I can't give you any money, but one of the recommendations on how you make people feel important in a work environment, of course, is to give them more money. Our good friend Jeff is back in the house. Jeff, how are you today? Good morning to you, sir. Thank you for being here. How are you, man? How do you, we're talking about just translating stuff from the 90s into today's world, in today's social media. Do you feel important? And what would make you feel important? Do you want to feel, you know, what do you think about being important? Do you have a wife? You have a girlfriend? How do you make them feel important? How do you show them appreciation? Part of what I'm doing is trying to figure out how to grow my channel by making you guys partly feel important to my channel, which you are. Because without you, as everybody says, without you, we are nothing, right? Married, oh, me married, good. So you're married. Did you hear the part about the roses a couple seconds ago? Did you hear that, Jeff? If not, I'll tell you again. Because it's good for married women to know. I'm doing good. We're doing good. A little sprinkly out here. I'm waiting for, it's hot and humid. All right, so here's the deal with the roses. And I'm going to paraphrase the paragraph. There was a wife one day who went to a self-help group with other women, which is bad. Self-improvement, bad. So the wife went there, and they all got an assignment to go home and ask their husbands to give them 6 ways that they could be better wives. 1, don't ever fall for that. Don't fall for that trap. So, and he was smart enough to not fall for it. So he told his wife, said, well, let me think about those 6 ways, and I will get back to you in the morning with it. So he said he got up bright and early in the morning. He ordered her 6 red roses with a card saying, I love you the way you are. I wouldn't change anything about you. See? He beat the trap. Plenty of date nights are good. Lorelai and I do a lot of date nights too. Yep, for real. So don't fall in that trap. But everybody wants to feel important. As husbands, fathers, children, dog catchers, burger flippers, YouTube stars, we all want to feel important and appreciate it. Oh, I love Paul Harvey. Everybody know who Paul Harvey was? I love Paul Harvey. I wonder if you could, I'm sure you could probably find his leftover stuff or his old stuff on the internet. But let's see what Paul Harvey has to say. Because I really enjoyed growing up listening to Paul. I grew up with the old people listening to Paul Harvey. I didn't listen to him, but I was around old men that did. Because I'm not that old. Paul Harvey, in one of his radio broadcasts, the rest of the story, as we all know, told how showing his sincere appreciation can change a person's life. Boy, and I agree with that. I learned that years and years ago. And like I said earlier, you can change the projection of somebody's day by showing and telling them that you appreciate them. Even if it's a Walmart checker, you know, giving them a positive affirmation can change their trajectory for the whole day. Meaning, maybe they don't drink that night or do drugs, or maybe they're better to their children when they get home because maybe they struggle in that. And we can turn it the other way. By being a dickhead, we can drive people into the ditch. That's what I call it. Validation for sure. Yes, sir. See, you're smart like me. I think you're smart like me, Jeff. All Dennis knows is arm candy. Our friend Dennis. Let me see. He reported, this is Paul Harvey speaking, he reported that years ago a teacher in Detroit asked Steve Morris to help him find a mouse that was lost in a classroom. All right, one, I don't know who Steve Morris is, but now I think of Morris the cat. I don't think it was Morris the cat, mouse, cat, you see my brain? You see, she appreciated the fact that nature had given Stevie something no one else in the room had. Stevie must have been a student. No one else in the room had. Nature had given Stevie a remarkable pair of ears to compensate for his blind eyes. Apparently, Stevie was a student who was blind but could hear extremely well. But this was really the first time Stevie had ever been shown appreciation for those talents. So we're talking about Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, right? And I'll go on to tell you real quickly, one thing I learned early on as a manager, I need to assess my team and figure out what their talent was. And what I could figure out their talent was, I amplified that and I put them in charge of that. Same concept. We got to recognize people for their skill level, for their talent, for their gift. One, that validates them, like the word. It gives them importance and makes them feel great. And that's what we're talking about today. So he felt, appreciated for his talented ears. Now, years later, he says that this act of appreciation was the beginning of a new life for poor old Stevie. You see, from that time on, he developed his gift of hearing and went on to become under the stage name of Stevie Wonder. Woo, hear that? So Stevie Morris is Stevie Wonder, one of the greatest pop singers and songwriters of the 70s. So, and I love Quantum Leap. We're going to divide because I like Quantum Leap. So Stevie Morris became Stevie Wonder because a teacher recognized and appreciated his abilities and talent. Jeff says, my kid always needs a lot of validation. He was born with continual glaucoma, so he wants to know everything he does is worth it. Oh, great. Congenital glaucoma. So that's an eye disease, right? That's great. But you do that. You do that, right? So I always liked a TV show called Quantum Leap. Sam Beckett, remember leaping through time? So he's almost blind. All right, I thought that's what it was. I'm not a medical expert, but yeah, that's what I thought. And so I could understand him wanting validation because he can't visually see that it's right. You know what I mean? So I could see he needs confirmation that it's right. The Good Show, yeah. Quantum Leap was a great show. And I love Quantum Leap. I watch the reruns now. I wish they would, and they did do a new version of it, but it's not as good. But I wish they would redigitize the old ones. But here's one thing that sticks out to me, is there is an episode, and there's a lot of episodes like this, but there's one particular episode. Well, there's two that I like the most. One is an episode where Stephen King's in it as a little boy, right? And he gets the idea for writing the book. I think it was Christine. So when, Sam, part of Sam's mission is to help Stephen King with his book writing, right? Gives him a little, and he takes it from there. The other one was Sue Piggy, Peggy Sue. Is that Buddy Holly and Peggy Sue? So Buddy Holly is in it as a little boy, and he's sitting on the porch playing a guitar, singing Piggy, Piggy Sue, Piggy, Piggy, Piggy Sue, and because they're on a pig farm. And Sam says, hey, why didn't you try Peggy? And there we go. Quantum Leap happens. Because the song was Peggy Sue, not Piggy Sue, right? Love Quantum Leap for all that weird little shit you find in there. So you never know the trajectory you're going to change. You remember that now, Jeff? You remember that? So you validating your child and giving and motivating him to be strong, powerful, and confident in himself will set him up on a positive trajectory. And I got a feeling you're doing that. I got a feeling you got a strategy that's going to get him on the right trajectory to where he feels confident in what he's going to do in the world. And everybody, no matter what your impairment is, vision, hearing, being ugly or fat, you all have a talent. And we all have an ability to be something great and important to somebody in the world. Lupus, so his mind forgets things a lot. Oh, you have lupus. I have lupus, so my mind forgets things a lot. Now, do you write things down? Do you have a habit? I'm really big on, and I've done this forever. I used to be really smart, and I used to have a really good mind until I went into a coma. But even way back then, I wrote notes. Since I started going to college, I took notes. I would scribble down things that people, and I'm left-handed, I'd scribble down things that people tell me. And I do it now on YouTube. I take notes from my YouTube channel. When I talk to other men about things that I find interesting, or women who say, hey, and they're talking, I write notes. They go, oh, that was very interesting what that person said. So I make a note of it. Now, I also do that for the things I need to do. I write down a lot of tasks. I got a notebook full of shit I need to do. And I keep rewriting it. Here's the bad thing. I just keep rewriting the notes I needed. I need to call this person. I need to do this. And I just keep rewriting it. I used to, but honestly, I get tired of doing it. Okay, I get you. Now I used to make for my grandmother who had dementia, we would write permanent notes. Mathematics is back in the house. Says, can I sleep over tonight, please? Absolutely. I am okay with sleeping under the bed if that's all that's available. Or do you keep the oil in the refrigerator or under the bed? You're welcome to stay under the bed. I have no problem with that. While you're under there, if you could lick up the dust, it would be really good. Oil, you're not going to get any of my oil. That's too precious. But yeah, you're welcome to do that. Now, we do charge. So if you want to come here, the first step is you have to super chat. And then we're going to have to negotiate your nightly rate. So before we can even discuss your nightly rate, you're going to have to super chat. All right? Clean it. So, I need to turn Jeff blue, by the way. Jeff, I'm going to turn you blue. Hope you don't mind. So I'm going to make you a basic moderator there, Jeff. In case, I almost killed you guys. So Jeff, you're turned you blue. All right. But we all want to feel important. Your son needs to feel important. You need to feel important. I need to feel important. You know, I told earlier, social media, we basically are, whores. We're out here pimping ourselves for fame and claim and all that, right? You don't have to, but I do. Well, I know I don't have to. That's why I did it. You've never asked. And that's why I did it, because I feel like I can trust you. So, and if I need you, I know you can step in and do things. All right, mathematics is trying to write some dirty stuff. YouTube has hit him. One, I don't like pickles, but I accept the fact that you apparently have affinity for pickles down your own personal throat. And if that's what you like, we don't discriminate against gay people on this channel. People of any sex, any color, any race, anything. So I understand that you have great perversions in your life. I do feel sorry for you, because of that, but not a lot I can do for you, all right? No, I'm not hungry, and mathematics. The other thing I'll tell you is I think it's rude to eat. I do eat sometimes on my live streams, but I find it rude to eat on a live stream. Maybe it's because I grew up, through a place where you try to be professional. I don't like to talk with food in my mouth. I have a problem with this. I have a problem when people chew and talk at the same time. If you have that problem, here's what I encourage you to do. Take smaller bites. If you take such of a big bite that you're going to chew, right, and make a fool of yourself while you're chewing and jawing, just take a smaller bite, chew it up, swallow it, then continue to talk. That's what I do when I'm in a conversation situation where we're eating. I learn to take smaller bites, chew it, and then continue on my conversation, not take a big-ass hamburger and try to eat it, all right? I won't block unless you say, thank you for that. I appreciate it. I don't mind trolls. I extract everything I can get out of a troll, as you probably see and can figure out. If they say anything racist, we block them. If they talk about little children, we block them, right? Other than that, until I say so, yeah, I like to. But if somebody comes in here, I don't care who they are, and they use some of the language that's really bad, you just go ahead and do it, because we're not going to put up that. I don't want anybody to be offended. But I do like to entertain trolls. I find them interesting. They're a great teaching lesson is what they are. Trolls are fantastic for everybody else to see and learn and know what not to be. Because what we've learned over the year is keyboard warriors, which is a troll, are cowards. They usually have small penises, or no penis. They live in the basement under grandma's house. They probably usually don't have a job unless it's working at McDonald's. All of that. They're pathetic. They don't know who they really are. They're confused, which is okay to be confused. And that's why we entertain them, because I want to try to help them embrace who they are. They want to feel important. That's what we're talking about today. Their hope is to become important on my channel. They come here because they want to be important on this channel, because this channel is greater than they are. A lot of people believe, how do you achieve greatness? By attacking those above you. That's what trolls do. That's, Hitler wanted to be greater than the Jews, so he killed them all, right? That's how we become greatness. It's a crab mentality. We try to pull people down so that we can be great. And it's obviously that trolls want to be great on my channel. The problem is they're not going to achieve greatness on my channel because, to be honest, I'm not great. I'm just a guy with a channel. So I enjoy trolls. I use them as a big-time teaching lesson. And then what happens is they run away. They go, well, sucker, he didn't bite. And they run away and cry like baby back bitches. So there you go. But we do all want to be great. And I want my channel to be better. And that's what we're doing today. We're working on this. So I want to be a channel that you guys feel like you want to share with others. That you guys feel like, hey, what he does is good. It's important. He makes me feel important. He makes me want to come here. Because I can't make anybody do anything. My goal is to try to get you to want to come here. Same thing with your wife. We got to make our wives want to treat us well. That's what we got to do. If we're a boss, we're doing the same thing. Our goal is to make our employees want to do a good job for us. All right, let's see where we're at. I don't really care about that. We did the Paul Harvey thing. So one thing that we talk about is flattery. For the sake of flattery doesn't get you anywhere. Especially with smart people. People that are good with who they are. You know, people are comfortable in their own skin. Flattering them, because I don't like it either. I think when people flatterize me, I think it's bullshit. If you want to compliment me on something that I do, then that's great. I get that. But you don't need to blow smoke up my ass. And I think most people know when you're blowing smoke up their ass versus being genuine. And if we want people to feel great, if we want to elevate them, and by in turn, when we elevate people, they elevate us, right? Rising water lifts all boats. So when I elevate you guys as an audience, when I bring you guys up, you guys will bring me up. But I don't want to blow smoke up your ass, and I'm not going to have you blow smoke up my ass. And a lot of people are really good at blowing smoke up your ass. I don't think you can trust people that blow smoke up your ass. You know, I really am one of those people that just don't think, one, you should believe them or trust them or do business with them. Because I think they're fake. And if a person who uses flattery to get what they want, you know, now it's a little different if you're flirting with a girl, right, to get a date. Yeah. But if you're blowing smoke up her ass, just on and on and on, then that girl should be smart enough to recognize all you want is to do is get in her pants, right? So there's a difference between flattery, you know, and flirting, big time. I won't put up with it. I won't do it. I don't like it. I'll give you an example. At the college, and I told her this. I liked her in the end. We got along very well in the end. There's a young lady there, a teacher, a chemist. I think she taught chemistry. Maybe it was anatomy. I don't know what she taught. But she found out later she was half Korean, half American. Very pretty girl. Doctorate in her field of study. Very pretty. Very well built. She had a proclivity for flirting. And one of my jobs was I handled every dollar that came through our division. I taught, but I also did anything you said that could make me money, I did it. And she was hoping to request something. I don't remember what it was. And she came in flirting, and it pissed me off. And I didn't like it. And so I told her basically, ABC, here's what you do. It has nothing, you know, I didn't tell her, don't flirt with me at this time. Don't suck up to me. Just, here's the task, ABC. That's it. You don't got to flirt with me to get what you need. You just give me ABC. You do 1, 2, 3, and you get what you need. You don't got to come in here and kiss my ass. I didn't like it. And she kept doing it, and I finally told her. I looked at her. I can't remember her damn name, but I looked at her, and I told her, I said, I know what you're doing, and I want to explain something to you. So sit down. The way that you behave is belittling yourself. You going around trying to flirt with me to get what you want, or to flirt with other teachers or other people, because you can, because you're a good-looking person, you got a good body, you're cheapening your education. You're cheapening your family. You're cheapening your history. You're cheapening your future, your legacy. Don't do it anymore. You are way better than that. And she quit, at least with me, and then we kind of became friends down the road. So, And she quit, and she said, thank you. And she's like, I think she may have said, I really didn't think about it that way. Well, now you do. Some fat guy that you wouldn't give the time of day of in real life is explained to you that, just because you're hot doesn't mean you're going to get what you want. So just keep that in mind, everybody. Too much flattery is kind of like too much sugar in your coffee. A little bit of sugar goes a long ways. You go, or at least me. I give some sugar in my coffee. I'm like, oh yeah. You put too much sugar in my coffee, then it becomes disgusting. Kid is in the house. Good afternoon, everybody. Good to see you. Running late to the party. We'll watch from the green. Great. We're talking real life stuff again today. I'm doing my life lessons today. So on how to take what we've learned in the past on how to be professional business people and translate it to our personal lives and to a modern internet society. I'm trying to apply what I learned in the 90s into my YouTube channel. Now, granted, this may not be a very popular format versus like the nighttime live streams, but it's helping me remember on how to make my channel better. So that's what we're doing today. Jeff says hello to you. Good to see you, Ken. Hopefully you're subscribed to each other, Jeff. So there's a little bit of thing going on here, and try leaving a friendly trail of little sparks of gratitude on your daily trips. It's like I said, you go to Walmart and you got the cashier who you can tell is, little gratitude, just thanking them for, even if you got to lie a little bit, one thing I hate about Walmart is how they treat the food that I'm buying. I hate how the cashiers throw the food around like it's garbage. It really pisses me off because I'm thinking I am buying that now. I'm taking it home to eat for my family. But yet you're throwing it around like it's effing garbage. Pisses me off. I don't know why Walmart doesn't train them to take better care of our stuff. Makes me mad. So I try, while they're doing things, I lie and say, hey, thank you so very much for taking good care of my food. I'm lying because they're not, but I'm trying to get them to do that. It's my way to manipulate them into doing better for me. And a lot of times it works. A lot of times they kind of slow down and go, oh, he appreciates me. Oh, what a nice necklace. Anything you can do will help get to your end goal. And what's your end goal in life? Mine is to get my wife a house. So let's go on with this. Trying to leave the friendly trails all day long. Pamela Durham of Newfield, Connecticut, had among her responsibilities of her job the supervision of a janitorial staff janitor who was doing very poor job. Now, I know how to make that janitor way better than he was. I can take a bad employee and turn them into one of the best employees. I learned how to do this years ago. Let's see what they say about this. But I know how to do this. Doing a very poor job. The other employees would jeer at him. I hate that word, jeer at him. Let me just say criticize and pick on him and litter the hallways to show him what a bad job he was doing. It was so bad, productivity time was being lost in the shop. Of course it was. He was not being effective or efficient. And we're spending way more time pointing out the negatives versus working on our job and doing the right thing. Our Walmart employees are so rude here, it's not even funny. We have 3 that are nice, but the rest, they're rude. They are. It's horrible. Walmart doesn't teach customer service. If I was a store manager, the first thing I would do is teach customer service because I want you to come back. I want you to think, oh, it's nice to go in there. Those people are friendly. I want you to come back and spend more effing money. Even though it's Walmart and they got so much godly money and so much business they could give a rat's ass if we're live and die. But I want you to come back. And so I want my employees to be nice to you. Yeah, I know. It's horrible. So what did our good friend Pamela do? Now Pamela and I are buddies. Let's see what she does. Without success, she was not successful at this. Without success, Pamela tried various ways to motivate this person. Well, there you go. You're going about it the wrong way. You can't find motivation. Find ways to motivate yet. You're not there yet. She noticed that occasionally she did a particularly good job on a piece of work. She made a point to praise him in front of other people. That's it. She made a point to praise him in front of other people when he did a good job in certain areas. Each day, the job he did all around got better and better. Pretty soon, he was doing his work, doing a good job and doing his work efficiently. Now, he does an excellent job and other people give him appreciation and recognition. Honest appreciation got the results where criticism and ridicule failed. The rich side is like, oh, I know, Jeff. It's crazy, man. I know, Jeff. So I figured this out early too. When I had a bad employee, I don't want to, what I want to do is study the root cause. Why are they bad employee? Is it because I didn't train them well enough? Did they not understand my training material? Did I not speak, and I don't mean in a language like Spanish or Latin, but did I not speak in a language they could understand? One thing I learned as a teacher who taught many different people, many different CEOs of companies, lawyers, all the way down to construction workers, was you got to know the language. You got to read the room. So with bad employees, you got to figure out if they're understanding you, if you're speaking the same language, the same terminology. If that means, and I hate to use this word, but if you got to dummy down what you're doing, your training to meet who you're working with, that's what you have to do. So you got to drill down to the root cause. Why are they not doing a good job? Do they not understand it? What they're supposed to do? Is it an ergonomic issue? Are the brooms too short? And so for them, it's really ergonomically bad. Is the broom way too damn heavy for them? So it can be ergonomics. It could be the fact that they feel like they're being bullied. And you can change all of that. And so what you do is you figure out the root cause of the problem. But most important is one thing I learned, and I love this. I wanted to find their strength. What wasn't, it's kind of what this indicates, the thing that he did that was good. What you do is you find a wife's strength, a child's strength, an employee's strength, and you amplify that. Like, damn, Jeff, you are really, really good at making those donuts. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to have you focus more on the donuts. And we're going to not have you focus so much on greasing the wheels or glaze, I don't know, whatever. Making boxes. Jeff, you're not going to make boxes because you kind of suck at that. But you're really, really good at donuts. So we're going to have you guys focus on doing what you do well. And then I'm going to empower you. Remember those words. I love those words. We're going to empower Jeff or Durham or whoever the hell this is to do donuts to the best of his ability. And then once you get that self-gratification that I'm being recognized for my ability to make donuts, well, that spreads, and that's what she says. Then you start doing a little bit more and you do it at a higher standard. That's what happens. You find out what they do best, you amplify that. And there's been times that I've taken employees, especially at companies as a private consultant, and went, oh, this guy over here, he needs to be doing X, Y, and Z, and he needs to focus on this part of whatever OSHA's got them in trouble for. He can do it. He's already got the knowledge. So let's move him over here and get him to focus on that. He doesn't need to be making broom handles. That's not, he needs to be making ladders because he understands the standards on how to build a damn ladder. See what I mean? That's what we do. And that empowers them. It makes them feel appreciated. And they get a feeling of important. I'm important because I can make donuts good. And then you can continue to build upon that. And that's kind of what she says, even though I do it better than her, whoever the hell she is. So attacking, hurting, belittling your employees, your wives, your children, my YouTube subscribers, besides trolls. See, I don't even belittle my trolls that much. I try to build my trolls up. Hurting people not only does not change them, it's never called for. You're not going to get anywhere by tearing people apart. There are times when you got to, snap at people and it comes out. This is an old saying that I have cut out and pasted on my mirror where I cannot help but see it. So here's an old saying. Let's read this old saying. I shall pass this way but once. Any good, therefore, that I can do, or any kindness that I can show any other human, let me do it now. Let me not defer or neglect it, kindness, for I shall not pass this way again. So I'm only going to have the opportunity, I can paraphrase this and like that, I'm only going to have the opportunity to build you up once. So I'm not going to defer that until later. I'm going to do it now. I'm going to stop now and tell you, you're doing a great job with dust mopping. You know, you've got the dust mopping down. Great job, my friend. Whatever it is, that's what we're going to do. Jeff, you do a great job coming to my channel, my friend. I mean, you're the, you know, that's what we do. With our kids, we should do that. With our wives, we should do that. Everybody should do that. And I'm trying to figure out how to do this on the internet so that we grow. And I get not a lot of people are going to like these live streams, but it helps me. So this is more of a therapy session for me. Let's see. We only get one opportunity to be kind, and we should take it. Let's paraphrase it that way. Maybe that should be it. We only get one opportunity to be kind, so let's do it now. Kid, this is funny, watching you from start, yet chat is not, so they don't go hand in hand. So, oh, I know. I know, it's kind of lagged, right? And so the chat is not in sync, right? I know, it's kind of funny. Because I go back and try to watch things, and sometimes I trim out things, and it's kind of funny. So we agree that we should do that. We shouldn't pass up an opportunity to be kind. Now, that's not always easy. It's not always easy. I'm a dickhead, I'm a jerk, and I'm an asswipe, and I know it. And I have to work hard to be kind because even though I'm a professional extrovert, I am truly an introvert. I don't like to be bothered. I'm happy to be alone. I'm happy for quiet and peace. You know, I enjoy my own company, obviously, or I wouldn't be sitting here reading a damn book on the internet. But I enjoy being an introvert, but I'm a professional extrovert. So I just thought I'd tell you guys that. Let me see here. Yeah, I'm skipping over some of the, well, I'm reading it, but I'm seeing if there's anything I want to tell you. You know, and I'm a really big fan, and I've talked about this, about what I call, or what's called, I didn't call it, I didn't invent it, behavior-based safety. You know, when I was in the safety field, the OSHA field, the teaching field, I 1,000% bought into behavior-based safety. And you can use the same concept of behavior-based, whatever it is, to solve any problem, to build upon things, to make things great. Because behavior, you know, when we understand people's behavior, then we can figure out what motivates them, how to persuade them, how to lead them. More importantly, it's leading. We have to be leaders in order to grow anything, anybody, anywhere, family, business, YouTube. I'm trying to be a leader, and so is Ken, for instance. Ken does a lot of live streams. So I jump out here and I do my format because I'm trying to lead. And then there's times I bring people in, you know, and I try to allow them to lead. I go to other live streams where I try to pump up the leader. I try to amplify and support the leader and give them the respect as a leader. So that's one thing that we can do. Because when we recognize greatness, even though greatness is not achievable, of somebody's importance, it helps to elevate them. When somebody else comes in the room and recognizes you, so to speak, which happens to me a lot, they recognize that you're a subject matter expert, that you're top notch in your field, that you wear really cool tropical shirts. And where can I buy some at? And what type of fabric do you like? And blah, 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 which happens a lot, believe it or not. Apparently, there's a lot of fat old guys that like to wear tropical shirts and fedoras and watches. So we build people up. We persuade them, we build them up, and we can help shape them to where they want to go. All right. Let's see here. You know, and I saw something the other day that I thought was really good. And didn't come out of this book, but, you know, I got a brother who's a professional salesperson, and him and I talk about sales and shit, and I'm not. You know, somebody offered me a deal the other day where I get like 20% of everything I sell on my channel. I get this offer a lot. Nah, if I like your product, I'll tell everybody about it, but I'm not going to try to get them to buy it because I don't sell shit. You know, I don't like that. I'm not a salesperson. But I do watch and hear a lot of people that are, because I like the human side of it. I like to understand that the psychology behind it. And one of the things I saw the other day was on YouTube or Facebook or somewhere where, you know, a smart salesman, let's say the reference was 100 doors. So they got 100 doors that they need to knock on. So they'll go to like door number 1, they'll knock on it, you know, and wait and write a note and slide it under the door and put a business card on it in hopes of somebody calling them. They'll wait for the phone call and all this other stuff. But this guy was saying, what you need to do when you're doing this is to move fast. And I like this. It's not really too relevant to this, but I like it. You knock on the door, nobody answers, you move to the next door. Next door, nobody answers, you move to the next door. Forget doing all that other bullshit, wasting your time. You go to the third door, you get somebody answered, you spend however much time you need with that person. But if nobody answers that door, you go to the next door. You don't waste time when you're knocking on a door and nobody recognizes you. And YouTube's kind of that way. One thing I've learned over the years is I do go to YouTube channels. And I am very big on the old-fashioned way of saying, hello, host, how are you today? I think it's polite and courteous. When I was growing up in the YouTube world, that's kind of what you did when you entered somebody's live stream. You said, hello, host, how are you today? Or something like that. You greeted the host, you know. You didn't say things like, hey, how's your boobs? You know, whatever. But you go in and you greet the host. Right? Now, if I go in, because one thing I'm doing is I am supporting, you know, Ken, can I use your channel as an example? So I go to Ken's channel. He's doing a live stream. I come in and say, well, hello, host. How are you today? One of the things I'm doing is supporting Ken and his channel and his followers. The other thing I'm doing is trying to get people to recognize me and want them to have a desire to come and figure out who David is or who PAC is, right? I want strangers to go, well, who is PAC? And, you know, who's this person saying hello to the host? Now, when the host doesn't recognize you, move on. I've gone to YouTube channels and said, hello, host, and I've done it twice. You know, maybe I'll do it again thinking they didn't see it. And if they don't recognize me, I give up and move on. Because obviously they don't need my help, and obviously I don't want their help. So I move on to another channel to grow my channel, right? Just something to keep in mind. And plus, I think it's rude. I try really hard, and I tell people in my live streams when they get really, really busy at nights and things, that if I miss somebody, I apologize. But will somebody else in blue let me know that somebody is in the audience that I missed? So you guys, part of your job as blue people is to say, hey, did you not see that Pat came in? Oh, no, I didn't see Pat. Pat, where are you? You know, because you do miss people genuinely, right? It's general. Let's see what we're doing. And we got to show love and respect to people. Never turn that down. They're just talking about a whole lot of the same thing. This book is just repeating pages of the same story. They're just telling stories. I like this part. Let's talk about this part a little bit. The world is full of people who are grabbing and are self-seeking, so that the rare individual who unselfishly tries to serve others has a gigantic advantage, which is really hard to do. It's really hard not to have your own agenda, and I think that's okay and understandable. The key is, are you willing to do 50-50? And I'm going to pick on Ken again, Ken's channel. Well, I want Ken to promote my channel, and I will promote Ken's channel. It's a 50-50 deal, right? But if I go on and promote his channel and he blows me off, well, that's not right either. And I have channels that do that. I have channels that I've supported for a long time that pretty much blow me off because now they're big channels, right? And that happens. But I find it highly rude. But there are people that come to our channels that are not looking for anything except for conversation, right? Or knowledge that they gain from other people. Because smart people listen to other people. Smart people let other people talk. And then we can figure out what's going on and have a positive dialogue. So the world is full of people who are grabbing and self-seeking. The rare individual is the one who doesn't have a dog in the fight, so to speak. Some guy named Owen D. Young, a noted lawyer and one of America's greatest business leaders, well, he's so great, I haven't heard of him. This is probably from the 1920s or 30s, once said, people who can put themselves in the place of others, so walk a mile in my shoes, who can understand the workings of their minds, behavior, need never to worry about the future has in store for them. I agree. You know, and maybe I'm to that area where I don't worry about what's in store for me in the future. I worry about my wife, but I don't worry about me. I don't. But I do like the fact people who can put themselves in the place of others. And I think this is really important if you want to grow it. You know, Jeff, if I can use you for an example, you know, with your son's disability or his impairment, with his vision issue, you probably have already put yourself in his position. Right? You've probably thought about how is the world to him? How does he see the world? It's kind of like that concept of getting with a little kid, a toddler, getting on your hands and knees with a toddler and seeing the world through their eyes. Same concept. Ken says, okay, jump to the phone to see if I get this pop-up thingy that was mentioned earlier. Oh yeah, the question thingy. Yeah, I don't like it. As I said earlier, it blocks my view of the aliens that are going to come down out of space and kill me. So I want to be able to see the aliens getting to me. The pole, yeah, I don't like the pole up here. It usually sticks right up in here. I don't like it. It bugs me. It bugs me. I don't think it's a bad thing. It just bugs my vision. So what he's saying is, if we can do that, if we can understand why people do what they do, and this is one reason I studied serial killers. Not that I wanted to kill people, don't get me wrong, but I enjoy human behavior. Maybe that's why I like YouTube, and I like this shit so much because I like human behavior. I love to know why people do what they do. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. What is your thought process and why you ate that rock? You know, what in your brain made you go, you know, I should eat that rock. That rock looked, you know, pretty good. Well, I'm not judging you. I'm not criticizing you, but I kind of like to know why you thought it was good. Just saying. I like to know why people like to kill people. I already know why people get married. Let me get caught up here. The poll, I am not seeking anything. Well, but Ken, I think you are seeking things. I don't think we can do that. Just, yes. Oh, mathematics is back. Would you consider getting ran over or steamroller? I don't know. I know you're a troll and you're dumb as a rock, but Try to spell things correctly if you're going to be a troll. That would be helpful. If you could do a little bit better sentence structure, if you're going to be a troll, at least, you know, be better than like a first grader, all right? You can do better than that. I have faith in you, troll. Mathematics, I have faith in you. I know you can do better. So don't disappoint me. Wow, this is confusing watching live in the phone and way behind on the PC. I know. It's crazy, right? It's crazy. Crazy, Ken. But Ken, I'm going to have to disagree with you. And Mike told me this one time too. Oh, I don't want anything. Yeah, you do. We all do. If we didn't want something, we wouldn't be on YouTube. We wouldn't be on Facebook. We want affirmation. I personally want to buy my wife a house, and I love to talk. So my wife tells me that I'm the only person that she knows that could talk to a brick wall for 3 hours. Because, she said my students were glossed over for 3 hours. They're all sleeping, and here I am going on, right? Because I usually teach 3-hour classes. So she's the only person, I can do that. We do all want something. Whether we recognize it or realize it, there is something we want. We're all getting validated by the activities we do. Or we wouldn't do it, right? We just wouldn't do it. I don't care what it is. I used to love to mow my yard. I was big time. Man, I got so much satisfaction out of mowing, but now I can't do it because I'm hurt. I'm old. Brick wall surprise. Yeah, well, that's what my wife says. The only person she ever met that could talk to a brick wall for 3 hours, and then take a break and go back. So, but we all do want something. Let me see where we're at. So it's important to understand the behavior of others, why people do what they do. It's like our little friend, the troll up here, he's doing it and hoping to get some reaction. He has found a YouTube channel that he sees is way above him, and he's hoping to get some traction on this great channel that he sees as a great channel that's way above him. And he's probably hoping maybe his little weenie will grow. Looking for another person's point of view, understanding another person's point of view. And arousing an eager want for something is not to be construed as manipulating that person to do something that is only beneficial to yourself or to their determinant. Each party should gain, and this is where you win and lose. I think it was my brother Johnny told me, the professional salesman, that a good deal is when everybody walks away thinking they got a good deal, right? The best deal that happened, I think maybe Donald Trump probably says this in his books. Never read his book, though. So, all right, kid. So, now on the PC, you can get caught up by going forward. I don't know if you knew that. You can just... But anyway, a good deal is when we both think we got something, right? When we both got what we wanted or close to what we wanted is a good deal. So I'm getting what I want. I hope it's a good deal to you guys to come to the channel, because I hope you guys get something you want out of it. Whether it's just stupid entertainment, or a little bit of knowledge, whatever it is, or just to kill some time because you're waiting for the dentist to take your teeth out. And that's going to be worse until you're watching a YouTube open and praying that you don't have to think about having the dentist rip all your teeth out. I don't know. We all get something out of it. That's what makes a good deal, when you both walk away going, yeah. Which I never feel that way. I always feel like I'm getting ripped off. But I train myself to do that. Like when we buy cars, I'm always thinking, man, we got screwed. Every time I buy a house, oh man, I think we got screwed. I keep that mindset. I think we got screwed, so I'll fight harder. The funny thing is my wife is the one who really gets apeshit crazy. I'm like, calm down. All right, we want to get a good deal, but we don't want to, have them call the police and escort us out. Let's see. Let's see what this story's about. Whitten of Warwick, Rhode Island, who is a territorial salesman for this is way back in the day, of the Shell Oil Company, because now there's no Shell stations, I don't think. So Mike was his name, I guess, wanted to become the number one salesperson in his district, but one service station was holding back. It was ran by an older man who could not be motivated to clean up his station. It was in such poor shape that sales were declining horribly. So nobody wanted to come there because it was disgusting. I can understand that. I go to places, and if it's disgusting, I don't come back. It's like the Walmart thing, except for we have to go to Walmart. The manager would not listen to any of Mike's pleas to upgrade the station. After many exorbitant heart-to-heart talks, all of which had no impact, Mike decided to invite the manager to visit the newest Shell station in his territory. There you go. You know, you got to figure out how to get to somebody, right? How to get them to open up. And a lot of times, I'll tell you, in this scenario, small starts. It's kind of like a pyramid. You get somebody, you got to build that foundation. So if you can convince this store owner, gas station attendant, that he shouldn't leave the oiled rags in a can next to the engines of the car, that's one little victory, right? That's one little cleanup. And you can explain why not to do that from logical, from insurance, everything, right? So you can do that. So a small victory, getting them to move into a better position. The manager was so impressed by the facilities at the new station that when Mike visited him the next time, his station was clean up and he had record sales. So he took him somewhere and said, look, buddy, here's how it should be, and yours looks like a shithole. Now, aren't you embarrassed? Because if these people can do it, why can't you do it, type of thing. This enabled Mike to reach his number one spot in his district. Good for him, Mike, whoever the hell Mike is. All of his talking and discussion hadn't helped, but by arousing an eager want, the manager, by showing him the modern station, he had accomplished his goal. And both the manager and Mike benefit. And what did we talk about all through this? You got to get the manager to want to do better. Want to do better. And a lot of times people don't understand why they should do better, to be honest. You know, I used to tell my little brothers about doing well in school. You know, I had a little brother who thought Ferraris were badass. You know, Ferraris were the greatest car in the world, you know, which I don't think so, but whatever. And I would tell him when he was in school, I'm like, well, you know, because, you know, I'm a lot older than he. So the friends I have who have gotten their dream car have done it by getting an education, and I'm not talking about a college degree, but I'm talking about getting smart, learning subject matters. And then you can become successful in something that will allow you to purchase your dream car. That's what the people I know who have dream cars have done. They become smart. I don't know if it worked or not. I don't think it did. I think my advice went bye-bye. Thank you all for the thumbs up, by the way, if you haven't given one. So most people, most people go through college and learn to read. I will tell you as a college professor, college is a waste of time and money. Don't go to college. I can talk in depth about why you shouldn't do that, but right now, college is a waste of money and time. Everybody said hello to Tony the Walrus. Good to see you. In real life, it's easier said than done, but it's always worth trying. I agree with that, man. It's always easier said in anything. You know, making the wife, you know, happy. Well, that's a hell of a lot easier said than done, right? Most people go to college to learn to read, master calculus, other subject matter, get a degree. For instance, I once gave a course in effective speaking for young college grads who were entertaining the employee of a Carrier corporation. That's the air conditioning people. Carrier made air conditioners back in the day. The largest air conditioner manufacturer. One of the participants wanted to pursue the others to play basketball in their free time. So he's giving a lecture about public speaking pretty much, and somebody was more worried about playing basketball in their free time. Now, this is about what he said. I want you to come out and play basketball. I like to play basketball. But the last few times I've been to the gymnasium, there haven't been enough people to get up a game. 2 or 3 of us got throwing the ball around, and the other night I got a black eye. I wish all of you guys would come down tomorrow night to play basketball. All right, so that's what he said, which obviously is not good English. Doesn't tell a good story. Would that make you want to play basketball? No. It would not make me want to play basketball. It may make me want to figure out how you got a black eye, but it wouldn't make me want to go play basketball. Did he talk about anything you want? No, except for the black eye thing. You don't want to go to the gymnasium that no one else goes to, right? So he's using negative terminology. And this is something I preached all my career and on YouTube. Positive equals positive. Let's switch those words around. And I told Michael that the other day, giving him an example. Use positive words, motivational things. But telling you, hey, I got a car for sale, and nobody wants it. They just sit on the lot. So we got a bunch of these. We got big discounts on them because, people think they're underpowered or whatever the hell they are. But you can get these, these cars have been sitting around forever, really cheap. Well, for some people, it may be motivation, the money, but you may also think of, instead of saying, we got a great little car that has great discounts on it, All right. You don't want to go to the gymnasium that no one else wants to go to, do you? You don't care about what he wants. You don't want to get a black eye. So he's kind of coming across going, when you go to the gymnasium, you get a black eye. The lawyer says, I went to college and got my master's degree in social work. I remember that because I was tired of having a job offers of terrible hours, low pay with my degree. I was able to dictate what I wanted and how much. And so I still had terrible pay being a social worker. I thought I'd throw that last part in. Because social workers are underpaid. Trust me on this one. Could he have shown how to get the things you want by using gymnasium? Surely. There's my doll. What time is it? Okay. So we got to give you a reason to come to the gymnasium. So one of the students in the training program was worried about his little boy. The child was underweight and refused to eat properly. They scolded and nagged the little shithead. Mother wants you to eat that damn broccoli whether you want it or not. Mother wants you to eat this and that. Father wants you to grow up to be big and strong. The poor kids in Ethiopia are starving to death. All of that bullshit. Remember that? So, yeah. Did the boy pay attention to these pleas? Just about as much as you would pay to flick one sand on the beach. Yeah, we wouldn't. Nobody's going to pay attention to the derogatory, the negative. We're not. You got to give him a want. And so if you are truly worried about his weight or being malnourished, figure out what he is interested in eating. If you don't like, look, I don't care who you are. If you don't like broccolis, you're not going to eat fucking broccoli. I don't give a shit who tells you to eat it. You're not going to eat it. You're not going to eat that shit. Or if you eat the broccoli, you're going to hate the person that makes you eat the broccoli, right? So no one with a trace of horse sense would expect a child of 3-year-olds to react to the viewpoint of a father 30-year-olds. Yet, that was precisely what the father expected. It was absurd. He finally saw, so he said to himself, what does the boy want? How can I tie up what he wants into what I want? Right? You got to think like the damn child. You got to think like the people that you want. You got to give thought to your wife. You got to give thought to this. It's like getting down on the ground with a 4-year-old and looking around and seeing what they see. I do that with my fat dog wiener dogs. We did that with the wiener dogs. I get down to see their point of view. And I do that. So it was pretty easy when the father started thinking about it. His boy had a tricycle that he loved to ride up and down the sidewalks in front of the house in Brooklyn. A few doors down the street lived a bully. Oh my goddamn bullies. A bigger boy who would pull the little boy off of his tricycle and ride it himself. Fat bastard. Pulling the little kid off his tricycle. Oh, man. Probably Tony Soprano when he was a baby. Naturally, the little boy would run screaming to his mother, and she would have come out and take the bully off the tricycle and put her little boy on it again. This happened almost every day. Well, that's stupid. If it's happening all the time, you're not fixing the problem. You know, now if you need to duct tape the fat kid, the bully, and put him in the closet, well, okay. No, let's see what happens. Don't listen to me about raising children. You don't want to do that. What did the little boy want? The fat boy, the bully. It didn't take a Sherlock Holmes to answer that. His pride, his anger, his desire for feeling of importance. So the bully won, and this is so true about bullies. I've talked so much about bullies on the internet. He wanted his pride, his anger, his desire for feeling important. All the strong emotions in his makeup gloated him to get revenge, smash the bully's nose. Oh, so you're talking about that. All right, let me reread this. This is going a different direction. I went a different direction. So what did the little boy want? Not the bully, but the little boy, the child who got beat up, picked on. It didn't take Sherlock Holmes to answer that one. Apparently it did for me. His pride, his anger, his desire for a feeling of importance, all the strongest emotions in his makeup, goaded him to get revenge. The little boy is going to get revenge on the bully. To smash the bully in the nose, yes. And when his father explained that the boy would be able to wallop the daylights out of the bigger kid someday if he would only eat things his mother wanted him to eat. So the kid wanted to kick the bully's ass for stealing his trike, and the father told him, said, hey, look, if you really want to kick the kid's ass, you got to eat all this shit we want you to eat, and then you're going to grow up big enough to beat up the bully. Unless it's like Brock Lesnar, then you're just screwed. Just saying. Sometimes you got to know who the bully is, right? So after solving that problem, the parents tackled another one. The boy had an unholy habit of wetting the bed. All right, so the kid peed the bed a lot at 3 years old. When he slept with his grandmother, in the morning, his grandmother would wake up and fill the sheets and say, look, Johnny did it again last night. He would say, no, I didn't do it. You did it. Grandma did it. Grandma pissed the bed. Damn grandmas. Scolding, spanking, shaming him, reiterating that the parents didn't want him to do it. So beating the kid up because he pees the bed doesn't work, right? Kicking the kid's ass because he's pissing the bed doesn't work. And it really doesn't work. I mean, come on. You need to kick the piss out of him? None of the things kept the bed dry. So the parents asked, how can we make this boy want to stop wetting his bed? It's a great question. What were his wants? Now, the wetting the bed thing, I don't know. We're going to have to read this because I think they may be going down a bullshit hole. Because I think wetting the bed is partly a biological issue. So we'll see what they say. But I think, the road they're going down, I'm not so for sure. What were his wants? First, he wanted to wear pajamas like Daddy instead of wearing a nightgown like Grandmother. Well, no shit. Who would want to wear a nightgown like Grandma? Damn grandmas. Grandmother was getting fed up with his nocturnal inquiries. No, so she gladly offered to buy him a pair of pajamas. Nice. See, there you go. If he would reform. Second, if he wanted a bed of his own. Grandma did not object. See? So they got to give the kids pajamas, give him a place. He didn't like sleeping with Grandma. Grandma was gross, smelly and old, So they thought, well, wait a minute, instead of kicking the piss out of him, maybe we'll get him some pajamas in his own damn bed. His mother took him to a department store in Brooklyn, winked at the sales girl, woo-hoo, and said, here's a little gentleman who would like to do some shopping. The sales girl made him feel important, very smart. Sales, when you're in sales, you got to make whoever you're working with feel important, more important than you are. And you got to figure out what their need is, not what you want to sell them. Young man, what can I show you? See, instead of her saying, here's what you need, what is it that you want? He stood a couple inches taller and said, I want to buy a bed for myself because my grandma stinks and smells and she's a bitch and she touches me at night and I don't like her and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. So we got to get smelly granny out of here. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe she was a smoker in bed. One of those smokers, in bed all night long, and she kept putting ashes out on the poor little boy. Hell, I don't know. When he was shown the one that his mother wanted him to buy, she winked at the sales girl, and the boy was persuaded to buy it. So Mama winked at the sales girl and said, we want to buy that bed. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And we've all kind of done that. We've all hustled children to get what we want. The bed was delivered the next day, and that night, when the father came on, the little boy ran into the door and said, Daddy, 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 I don't gotta sleep with stinky grandma anymore. Oh, I'm such of an asswipe. Oh, my God. Daddy, Daddy, come upstairs and see my bed that I bought. See, you empowered him. That is one thing I tell people about their children and people. Let them be empowered. I bought you this. I did this. Let them take ownership in things. Let them claim a victory. The smartest things that we can do as adults is give people a way out and give them a victory. Give people a victory. The father, looking at the bed, obeyed Charles Schwab's injection and said heartily, in his appropriate and lavish in his praise, yes, you did great. You picked out a wonderful bed. I very much like it. You did a good job, young man. And we will ship Grandma off to the nursing home tomorrow. So there you go. Now you're not going to wet this bed, are you? I don't like this. The father said, oh, no, I'm not going to wet this bed. The boy kept his promise, for his pride was involved. I think this story is a little bit of bullshit. That was his bed, and he alone had bought it. And he was wearing pajamas now like a man. He wanted to act like a man, and he did. Now, I do think it's important to train children to wake up, and to go to the bathroom and things like that, right? So I don't think it's easy to say, I'm not going to pee the bed anymore at 3 years old. There's more to it than that, I believe. So, but I get the parable. I get the concept and the bullshit of the story. I just don't think it's right. Biology is biology. Making the kid pee before he goes to bed, keeping their liquid intake a little bit lower, blah, 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 blah. So this is, all right. But we get what they're trying to say. They're trying to bribe the kid not to do something. So another father, K.T. Dutchman, a telephone engineer, a student of the training course, couldn't get his 3-year-old daughter to eat breakfast food. I can go deep on breakfast food, let me tell you. The unusual scolding, pleading, and coaxing methods that all ended in futility and didn't work. No. So the parents asked themselves, how can we make her want to do it? How can we make the child want to eat her breakfast food? Maybe she just didn't like the bullshit, Maybe she wanted something else. Did you ask her what she'd like to eat? Because now we all know that eating cereal is garbage, right? And even drinking a lot of juice is garbage. We don't normally drink juice in real life. If we ate like our ancestors, we're not going to be, eating a big glass of orange juice and 40 pancakes and all that other bullshit. But anyway, that's me going down to a rabbit hole. The little girl involved, let's see, where are we at? Scolding, how can we make her? The little girl loved to imitate her mommy, which is normal, right? So children usually want to be like one parent or the other. To feel big and a grown-up, so one morning they put a chair and let her make breakfast food. Excellent. Get her involved in the process. Let her have ownership. This is in business life and on my channel. You guys all have ownership. You know how I know this? Because I give you the power to be blue, which gives you the power to do things on my channel. And you have the power to criticize me, or you have the power to promote me. One of the two, or three, or all the above. So they brought her up, let her cook, give her ownership, and then she cooked the things that she wanted to eat, right? Let's see here. So they put her up, let her make the breakfast food. Just at the psychological moment, the father drifted into the kitchen while she was stirring the cereal and said, "Oh, wow, Daddy, I'm making cereal this morning." And the father better have reinforced that positivity. And I'm sure he did, because that's kind of where we're going. She ate 2 helpings of the cereal, which now we all know makes Americans fat, without any coaxing, because she was interested in it. See there? You find out what an employee is interested in, and you have them do that. If somebody hates sweeping, why are you having them sweep? But they like to paint. So they're a good painter, they like to paint. Why in the hell are you having them do something that they hate to do? Unless it's an emergency, right? Same here. So now the kid thinks it's cool to make cereal, which is probably what made her fat and ugly, because of all the sugars and chemicals in our food. But that's a different story. That's a story for another time, says Steve Harvey, or whatever his name is. Let's see. William Winter once remarked that self-expression is the dominant necessity of human nature. I agree with that. Self-expression. Look at me. I'm the epitome of self-expression. Why can't we adapt this same psychological to business dealings? I agree. When we have a brilliant ideal, instead of making others think it's ours, why not let them cook and stir the ideal themselves? Well, I agree with that. Planting seeds is what I call this. You got to plant those seeds and then nurture it. And the way you nurture it is you get everybody else to bring water to the seed, to provide sunlight to the seed so it sprouts and grows. And then everybody gets credit. Then they will regard it as their own. They will like it and maybe eat a couple of helpings of it. Remember, first arouse in the other person the eager to want. He who can do this has the whole world within him. He who cannot walks a lonely path. Arouse in others person the eager to want. So our goal is to arouse the things that you want, and to provide you the things that you want, so that you'll come back to my channel, that you will tell your other friends, hey, you know, I've met this guy, I got a channel. Now, he does a lot of this bullshit, but he also does this, they do this. So there's a want for you. So I'm trying to get you to want to be here. That's the whole goal of these morning chats. All right, my friends, it's 1 o'clock. That means I got to go cook Lorelei, my wife, a waffle, 2 eggs, 4 sausages, and give her 1 gallon of organic maple syrup to go on the waffle. Oh my God, true story, on the 4th of July, I had some friends over, and the kids were like, y'all have met, let me read this. Y'all have met, I asked, She said, y'all have met. Oh, meat. We don't get meat much, so let me read this. True story. On the 4th of July, I had some friends over, and their kids was like, y'all have meat? I asked, huh? What do you mean do we have meat? Of course we have meat. Man, it's America. She said, y'all have meat. We don't get meat much. So understand what yes, I agree. Aaron says, like, done. Thank you for that. Jeff says, have a great day. Appreciate you. Beautiful view. Thank you. It is a beautiful view, by the way. But you probably met me. Now, don't be looking down here. Keep your eyes up here. But I got to go make some waffles, some sausages, a couple of eggs, and get in the air conditioning. It's a little hot out here. But Jeff, appreciate you. Ken, appreciate you. Dennis, Pat, everybody, and their sister, brother, mother, dog, and all that. We appreciate you. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and sharing. And we'll see you guys here soon.